Hello, everybody. It's Marjorie Waldo at Arts Garage, and today I'm lucky enough to be sitting with Sandra Swil, who is one of the artists in our gratitude exhibit for November. Thanks for joining me, Sandra.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I'm glad I get to talk to you. So that's a highlight of my day today. So I want to ask you about your art. You are a contemporary expressionist, yes?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, contemporary meaning that it's current, and expressionist meaning that the work that I do is not realistic. It's something that I'm expressing what I'm feeling or working with in my thoughts that time.
When did you start, when do you feel that you started as an artist? I mean, were you drawing forever as a child, or did you start it later in life?
I was always drawing, and I always was working in colors. And very serendipitously, I got involved in the wallpaper industry. And before I turned around, I was directing artists and creating designs with them and coloring. And it really just all came very instinctively and very natural.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you train formally, or are you self-taught?
Self-taught.
That's great. Okay, so there was something in your artist statement that struck me. You were talking about this pandemic this year and the delivery. I'm only going to give you the lead in, and then I'm going to let you tell the story. That you were seeing all these delivery trucks dropping off box after box of things. How did that inspire you? What happened?
So first I'd like to back up, and I am a painter, and I generally paint on the canvas using acrylic paint, and I don't have any thoughts about where I'm going. The palette that I choose for the day will dictate what I create. The majority of the time, on the canvas, all of a sudden a form starts, and I follow that form, and I end up seeing some very sad portraits of people. And honestly, while I'm painting this, it's very, very sad for me and very emotional. So when the pandemic started and I was
isolated for a sec. I was going to ask you about your process, but this is very interesting to me. So let's talk about that before you talk about the boxes, okay? So,
sure.
So what you're telling me is that when you're painting, some of the images that you're saying are created during the process are not necessarily in your head to paint. You're painting something, you're just painting in general, and then these shapes or images appear to you. And they're always shapes, and they're always sad.
Yes, yes. And people will say to me when they'll see it, "You're a very optimistic, happy person. Where is this coming from?" And I don't know. I must tell you honestly, I don't know. But it's the palette that starts the process.
For you, and that's very interesting. Very interesting. Yes. Well, I think sometimes our brains work in crazy ways and we don't use most of them. You know, there's a lot of our brain power that's wasted. And I wonder, I think for a lot of the people that I've gotten to speak with, this process of interviewing the artists and performers is new. It was something we did during the pandemic to sort of help our audience know each of you a little bit better. And I love it. I think it should be part of our, all the time, marketing and building the brand for each of you, because it's exceptional that we get to showcase performers and artists that have such amazing talent. And it's nice to be able to brag on you a little bit. So, but I've talked to a lot of people in these interviews, and for them, their music or their art, it's a way for them to process all the things that they're feeling. And it's not like a conscious effort where they say, okay, I'm feeling sad, so I'm going to sit down and paint, or I'm feeling angry, so I'm going to write a song. It's not like that. It just is part of the organic process for them.
That's
So
right.
I find that very interesting. All right, so
Yes.
now tell me about the boxes.
So I knew that it was too emotional, and while I'm isolated in the house, I knew that I could not do any painting. And I didn't know actually where I would begin or what I would do. But having said that, I would see these boxes everywhere being discarded. I'm watching the trucks going back and forth up and down the streets. And I was thinking, like, what can we do with this cardboard that's going to go into the landfill? It's going to emit all these terrible gases eventually, which is going to continuing the ruination of our environment. So I started bringing in the cardboard, and I started looking at it, cutting it up, playing with it, and forms. I started creating these forms, and it started with just one, and then it just grew until I have these dimensional sculptures. I build them on the canvas itself. And quite honestly, I wish I could say that I sat down and I sketched and I made pieces like a puzzle and then I put it together. That is not my process.
I think it's really interesting, and the work is stunning. Your work is stunning. My understanding is that it's all up on our website. I haven't checked myself, but my marketing director told me, so definitely share it with your friends in advance of the art reception. We do have your art reception this Friday. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. It's you and 2 other artists. It will be socially distanced, so there shouldn't be more than 50 or so people in the gallery at a time, and everybody should be in masks. So it's an opportunity to see your work. Anna, our art curator, is hanging. She's been prepping the walls. We unloaded the prior exhibit, and she's prepping the walls, and tomorrow everything will be up. So everybody will get to see it in person. And your work in particular, I really think people can get a preview on the website, but I really want them to see the work face to face, if you will, because it is stunning and very different, very unique. And I love the repurposing angle, the environmental angle. I think that's really cool, but I also think your process is very intriguing because it sort of happens to you. I think that you're like the vehicle. There's something in you guiding. I don't know. I think it's really neat.
I agree. And I appreciate everything you're saying from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. I did at one point show it to someone, and that person said to me, are you aware of, they're called Doughie, I believe. I have to look it up again. But they are ancient Japanese statues that historically it was believed that they were used for religious ritual going back in time. And they were saying to me that most of the sculptures are the exact form, short legs, wide hips, and so, you know, you talk about channeling, you know, I don't know. I can just say I'm as amazed sometimes when I stand it up and it's finished before I start finishing it as far as the different paints and finishings that I work on, trying to keep it very organic looking anyways. Mm-hmm. But I'm amazed myself at what's being created on the canvas.
I think that's just stunning, and I can't wait to see it hanging on the wall. I'm looking really forward to that. So the last question I want to have you address for the audience is, I want you to tell me how you feel this work that you've created during the pandemic that you're going to be showcasing here for November relates to the gratitude, the theme of the gratitude exhibit. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Absolutely. And I think that that's the most marvelous umbrella, because I am, as well as most of us, so grateful for the air we breathe. And that air is dominated because of the trees that are outside everywhere that are being destroyed. And when I pull my work together and I think about the cardboard that I'm using, which is coming from trees, it just, I feel I'm repurposing, at least in that fashion, that it's not wasted completely. It's being created as something that I hope other people view as beautiful, thoughtful, make them stop and think about it, and then think about the fact that it's paper and it's coming from our trees. And we need to be more grateful and gracious about respecting that.
Nicely stated. Thank you for that. Okay, so Sandra, it was wonderful talking to you. Thank you for making time. I'm very excited about your exhibit. People can peek in on Thursday and see a preview, and then they can stop by on Friday if they are comfortable in their masks, have a drink at the bar, and take a look and talk to you about your process if they like. If they're not comfortable, they can see all of your work and a video that you did about your work on our website, on the gallery tab. So thank you for taking the time.
And thank you for appreciating my work and for having this moment with me.
Same here. All right, take very much care, and I'll see you Friday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.